can you hear me? Okay.
Hello, Nora.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing superb.
Doing superb.
I'm freaking out every time I sniffle. It is full-blown spring in Atlanta. Every flower is just spewing out pollen like there's no tomorrow, right? And I'm like, every time and I have horrible allergies anyway, and every time I'm going like, I'm thinking, oh God, I've got the coronavirus.
I know.
I'm just gonna
It's horrible.
have to literally get over myself, you know? Seeing lots of cool people on here. We're going to get going in just a second. This is recording. Yeah, let me just give me a second and
Okay.
to do a little housekeeping. Pull the chat out. Tony, how are you, buddy? And whoever D is, hola, Richard and Gus. How are things? At the group chat here, y'all surviving the apocalypse? Nor is that your music?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I like to share.
There is nothing wrong with liking to share. That's very cool.
How do I mute it?
Just kind of hover and then you'll see a little microphone icon on the bottom left. There you go. Who is the dog? Nora, your dog. Show us your, well, Nora, you're talking, so unmute yourself. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm a huge dog lover. So guys, I tell you what, if you don't have a lot of background noise, unmute yourself, okay? Feel free. Eric, Tony, how's it going, buddy?
Okay, over here in the UK. It's been a beautiful first day of the spring.
You know, it's kind of nice. I mean, the world is apparently going to hell in a handbasket, but yet
Absolutely.
Mother Nature does her thing, you know?
Absolutely right.
And there's something kind of life affirming about that. So I was on a webinar. Well, this is going to be a stupid question, but I guess it needs asked. It needs asking. Do y'all know who the hell I am? Not that I'm any big deal, but yeah, I mean, do you know who you're on a webinar with?
Yeah, I think I've heard of you before. In fact, I've got a couple of your courses which I've run through and had good success with.
I love that, Tony. I love that. Why don't we schedule a call sometime? Because I love hearing about success.
Yeah,
and that also helps me. You probably have my support ticket system link.
I'm pretty sure I'll find it. It'll either be in Goldmind or one of the courses. The original one was actually the one with Gloria way back.
I was literally on the phone with Gloria yesterday.
Excellent.
Let me do this. Let me pop this in here. And Tony, I'm very serious about talking to you. It's really important. I'm here to support you guys, as you know, but it's important for me to get feedback, and I have to work at feedback because I make pretty good courses and stuff, and I don't get a lot of negative feedback, but I virtually never get positive feedback because those people are happy out there making money. So, you know,
that's the way to do it.
You know, and so I love hearing from people that, you know, where things are actually working. Ron, Charles, Jim's laptop. Well, I'm glad Jim's laptop is on here. And Eric and Tom, good to see you. David Main. David, you and I think, have exchanged a couple of tickets. I think you and I spoke a while back, a couple of years ago. It's nice to see so many wonderful people in here. So, and I asked a stupid question to get going. Do you know who the hell I am? I mean, well, I'm not a big deal, okay? But I am the guy that you buy. There are two kinds of people on here, all right? People who know me through my internet marketing and software business, okay? And people who know me through a platform that I also represent, Nora, this would be you, for instance, called Royalty. And you're all basically in the same boat. You're trying, hey, Ed, how's it going? You're trying to do the same types of things, right? You're trying to create, I was just actually sitting here writing an essay about my history with this stuff, which goes back to 2007, but you're trying to create an alternative income, however you say this to yourself. I mean, it's either a side hustle, it's a business. The way I say this to myself and say it to people is you're trying to create a different relationship between three things: your life, your time, and your money. And actually, I was just kind of doing some, I mean, it's kind of a time to do some reflection, right? So I was sitting here kind of doing some reflection. I love to write, and I was basically just started writing down just in a Word document what got me here. And it all started with Tim Ferriss's, well, one of the things it started with was Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek book, which, you know, sold massive copies, but I actually took it seriously. I was like, dude, is that even possible? And I mean, this is back, I looked in to see when it was published, and this is back in 2007. And man, that, I said in my little essay that I was writing, that it lit a fire under me. I would say it really put a Saturn V rocket under me. And, you know, my life, I mean, that changed my life. But so you guys are coming here from different places. The reason that I wanted to do this particular Zoom meeting, and I'm going to be doing a lot of these as we move through this time of uncertainty, or maybe forever, I don't know, because, you know, when you, especially when you do internet marketing, you can have a thriving business, and I've had one for years, but there's such a distance between you and the customer, you know? And I'm constantly, this is why I do all of my own support. And I mean, everybody keeps telling me, Lee, you need to outsource the support. And I could easily do that. It's just, that's the one time when I actually get to, you know, get in there and see what's going on and talk to people. But I thought, you know, I was on a training webinar yesterday, and I'm looking to see if the person on that webinar is on the call, and I don't think you are. Chris Bass. ¿Cómo están las cosas en dónde es? Paraguay. Bien, espero. But I was on, yeah, I don't think he's on, but, you know, I just had one.
On, I just saw he's on. He's in Paraguay, and I believe he is on. Hi, I'm Gustav, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, hello. How are you? Yes, Chris and I have known each other for a long time, and you know.
Yeah, Chris and I met in Paraguay when I used to live there. I'm actually now in Germany, near Frankfurt.
Ah, I see. And Chris is still in Paraguay, right?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. I've kind of followed that. He's told me a lot about that, and
yeah. Chris is a very good friend of mine, and we've known each other for years also.
Wonderful.
Actually, I'm on this meeting because he this is my first real webinar, actually, and it's because of Chris that I'm here.
And what is your name?
My name is Gustav.
Well, Gustav, other than knowing Chris, who knows me, do you know who I am?
No, I am sorry to say I do not.
Well, that's totally cool. I'm honored that Chris would say get on a webinar with Lee, and you did that, not knowing who the hell Lee is. So real quick, guys, because most of y'all know me, and Gustav, you don't, and so that makes me think maybe there are other people who don't too. I'm not a big deal. I'm just a guy, okay? But and it's so funny because I was sitting here actually writing an essay about this because I wanted to get it all down. I discovered that you could do more with the internet besides check your email. In around 2006, 2007, I was a high school mathematics teacher. I loved the teaching part. The rest of it was literally putting me into an early grave. No joke.
Right.
And I thought, to heck with this, even at my advanced age. I'm 62 years old now, so you can guess what would I've been, late 40s? I just started on this journey of, I mean, we have so many words for it now, right? Side hustle, home-based business, alternative income. I mean, this whole thing over this past 15 years has blossomed into, and rightly so, a whole deal. And you know, what's really cool is the deal that we have, the deal that we are all communally working on is the answer to making money in this crazy world when my wife flips out if I go to Walmart and buy, I finally found some rolls of toilet tissue, praise God. But I mean, you know, to where, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And that's cool. But before the pandemic, it was cool because like I said, Gustav and everybody else, I've developed a different relationship between my life, my time, and my money. And I have been an evangelist of this, created, God knows, dozens of courses, sold tens of thousands of products, and helped a ton of people actually break free from the old paradigm of, you know, working and making money. I mean, you still got to make money.
No.
I mean, you got to add value, right? It's just that we're at the cutting edge of a whole new deal. And God knows the world needs this whole new deal right about now. You know, I mean, follow the news. I'm like, I'm not, you know, out of my mind with worry. I'm also washing my hands like 24 times a day, right? But I am highly aware that I, because of the work I've done, and hopefully a lot of people because of stuff that you bought from me in the past and other trainings that I've pointed you to, that you were able to at least make some money without the standard way of working. And this is a big deal, a big deal. And we see now with the world under stress that this big deal is coming to the forefront. It's bigger than Uber. It's bigger than piecework at Amazon. It's bigger than the gig economy. This is getting, I mean, literally the laptop lifestyle is kind of like a joke. And sometimes when I write emails, I talk about, you know, the laptop lifestyle. I'm being sarcastic, you know, money spewing out of your laptop and all that stuff, which we know is not the way it works actually, right? But the fact that a person through so many different ways now can make money with a freaking laptop all by themselves just freaking blows my mind. And I am not the inventor of that. But I have been like a little tiny evangelist in that huge movement. And so that's kind of like who I am. And I mean, that's the life I've been living for the past, I guess, 13, 14, 15 years, full time, doing that since for a decade. And I wanted to do this Zoom meeting, and I'm probably going to do a bunch of these because I had a training webinar for a coaching course that some people had bought yesterday. And somebody, and if you are on here, I think your name was Thomas, if I'm not, I could be, as a former president said, misremembering or misunderestimating, who knows. But anyway, I could be, you know, forgetting the name actually. But somebody asked me, well, Lee, what do we do? You know, what do I do? You know, this guy apparently had some clients for a local marketing type business, and clients were understandably freaking out. And he was understandably freaking out. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of panic in the air. There's rational reason for panic in the air, frankly, you know? And, I mean, here I am in the richest country in the world, and I had, I mean, I've gone on a search for toilet paper for a week. I mean, that's insane, right? And
I still don't get that. I'll interrupt you for a moment there.
Oh, please go for it.
Still do not get why people are panic buying toilet rolls, but there you go.
Who knew? Who knew? I love dystopian literature. I read a lot, I mean, just for fun, you know, I read a lot of what's called post-apocalyptic stuff. Nobody in any book that I've ever read has mentioned the damn toilet paper. I mean, it's always bullets, it's always, you know, canned food, it's always, you know, stuff, but nobody's talking about the toilet paper.
No, and you can't eat it. You can't eat it, that's for sure.
You know, and you know, honestly, when you think about it, I would venture to guess that by far the majority of human beings on this planet actually don't have access to hygienic toilet paper, and they're doing just fine. You know, I don't think we want to go back there, right? I mean, look, I'm an Eagle Scout. When I was a kid, I went camping a lot, and yes, without getting into details, you know, you don't have to have well, there's the bidet issue. Yes, Gustav, I've been really sorely wishing that in the United States we had the French model of bidets, because I'm thinking, well, minus the toilet paper, you know, I could just have the bidet, and you know, we could get that done that way. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I that was a shocker to me.
I'm really lucky because in my ensuite, I actually do have a bidet. So if I run out of toilet paper, I'm fine.
I haven't used toilet paper in 15 years, and I'm American.
Okay, that was.
Since I went to Thailand, we used the little sprayer thing, and then I moved to around Paraguay and Europe, and even in America there are bidets. You know, it's like I don't get it. Could be something to do with the volume of the size of the toilet paper, or someone say, because usually more people go and buy toilet paper, and that's because it's so voluminous compared to other items on the market, on the supermarket. It just, when it empties out, it leaves a wider gap.
Right. Well, that's actually probably an astute point, Gus, because I mean, a can of food's this big, right? But
Right.
you know,
Toilet paper,
a thing of
towel.
toilet paper is this big. You know, it could be that. So.
But it's not just that, of course. It's panicking, and it's happening here in Germany too, where people think to be a little bit more forward thinking, but it's happening everywhere. Human nature is human nature, independent of where you live.
Yeah, I still don't get why you need 5 years worth of supply though, just in your garage.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, Mark, I agree. People are freaked out. And anybody who wants to talk, just unmute yourself as long as you don't have a lot of background noise. We're totally cool with that. So I wanted to, just broad strokes, what Thomas said yesterday on the webinar made me understand that for my general audience, all of you guys, that we need a safe space to go to. We need a space where there's rationality and common sense and a lot of ideas, so that everybody's not, because when you work in internet marketing, or I also work in the network marketing business, and I've got people in my downline in a specific company here on this particular call, you tend to work in isolation. And that means you tend to be very susceptible to group thinking, or CNN, or whatever the media is telling you, which is, you know, a lot of it's very valid, but a lot of it's very clickbaity. And it's hard to know what to do about your business. I mean, it's kind of like, and the thing that I didn't want to happen was I really did not want you guys to just sort of fold it up and say, A, we're screwed, because we're not screwed, okay? But also, like, take a vacation. I was talking with my network marketing people about this Monday, now's not the time to take a vacation. As a matter of fact, now, and I don't mean this in a cruel way, but now is the time to double down on your prospecting. Now, yes, you don't want to go out and shake a bunch of people's hands. I got that. Okay. But God knows. I mean, we got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, we got Twitter. I was just on the phone setting up a couple of virtual meetings with some people right before the webinar. Now is the time to double down. Now is the time to stay focused while everybody is unfocused. And two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get through this whole thing, however long it lasts. I don't know. How long does this last? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year? I don't know. But however long this thing lasts, you're going to get through it in a lot more style than a lot of other people are going to get through it. But especially, I know exactly what's going to happen because I saw it happen during the Great Recession, which would have started about when I got into this stuff, really around 2008, 2009, 2010, and started, you know, just sort of healing from that, I would say 11, 12, and 13. But, you know, now's the time to focus in on building whatever your business is, because if it can withstand, if you can build it so that it can withstand what we're experiencing now, can you imagine how robust, I think the word would be, can you imagine how robust that business is going to be when the world returns back to sanity? So there's that issue. And the other issue is, again, I mentioned my age, I'm in my early 60s. There's always some other thing around the corner. I mean, I've lived through God knows how many, and I know a lot of you guys are you know, same age I am, and you know, younger, but and a few older, but you know, every time you turn around, there's a recession, there's a hiccup, there's you know, somebody, you know, some bad actor in the world or whatever. Stuff happens. Getting your business to where it's getting a business, but two, getting your business to where it's not immune but more resilient to things like that. That's the answer for you guys. Yes.
Oh, good. I guess I was muted earlier. How you doing, Brent? Hey, look at Lee. I apologize. I've got about 10 or 15 more minutes.
It's all good.
Do you have any? Okay, yeah, and I don't want to you know, bow out early, but if there's anything, I don't know what your agenda is for this meeting, but if there's anything, you know, I don't want to miss anything real important. So
yeah, this meeting is unlike any other meeting that I've ever had. This is a meeting without an agenda.
They're in the refrigerator.
Huh? Mark just said they're in the refrigerator. But anyway.
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay, buddy. The goal of this meeting, okay, is to create a space. I'm going to have this meeting several times per week. Okay, I'm not exactly sure of the time and all that stuff. This is not a Lee Teach, you listen meeting. Okay, this is a time for us to come together as entrepreneurs, which is what every single person on here is. This is a time for us to come together as entrepreneurs, meeting in the midst of a very chaotic time, sharing ideas, but especially understanding that there are some very important things and a very important mindset. So let's say this is the agenda, the very important mindset that you need to take into this. You've got to cut the fat out of your business. You have to. You've got to. I taught a coaching course about this time last year, and I called it my 1-1-1 course, because you've got to be doing one thing until that thing is working really, really, really well. You've got to, just for a little business like this, you've got to focus on creating one way of getting clients, one way of selling those clients, one thing to sell those clients. And once you get that working, then, and this is what makes your business robust, you've got to build that out. I'll give you, Ed, a couple of examples. So a few days ago, well, really before the what hit the fan, considering we started talking about toilet paper, before the what hit the fan, the last time I ate out, I was eating out with my son, and I was at a restaurant that I really like to eat lunch at. It's over there by Emory University, major university here in Atlanta. It should have been full. It was empty. The manager walks up to me and says, and I say, what's going on? And he said, university closed because of the virus. Okay, so there's a problem. In the midst of all this, my dryer decided to break, which I think is hilarious. And I really don't want this is me being slightly paranoid, but I really don't want a bunch of people. I don't know who the hell they are. I don't know if they're sick. I don't know anything. I don't want a bunch of people walking around who could be, bringing the virus into my house. So right now I am dryerless, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But so I just sucked it up and took everything to the laundromat and just did a whole ton of stuff. It took me about an hour and a half. I actually kind of liked it because I am in the process of picking up a new client for my business from the guy that owns the laundromat. I'm sitting there talking to him. I'm saying, Mark, absolutely, buddy. Hang on to that thought. I'll go over that again. I'm saying to the guy that owns the laundromat, I'm saying, because there was no one there except for me and one other person. I said, how are you doing? It was really interesting. He said, well, the Chinese guy, he was saying, well, he was doing really well because everybody's like paranoid about cleanliness. So they're all bringing their laundry to him to do. So that's good. But he had said his sister, who owns 2 restaurants, is not doing well at all. I mean, she's seen her business vaporize. And I said, yeah, because people don't want to go there, sit down and eat food and be around each other. So what's she doing? And he said, well, she's thinking about takeout and all this, doing more takeout and all this stuff. And it really hit me. And of course, and I'm trying to keep this totally general, but for a specific platform that I'm involved in, I told him about that, and he and his sister are very interested in that. But the deal is, all of these businesses, those guys, the other people I talk to, people that I coach, all of these businesses, in a time of stress, so this is true for your body, your relationships, your business, anything. In a time of stress, that's when you find out where that weak link is, right? That's where that weak link starts to really want to stretch and bend and break. And all of these businesses had really kind of a foreseeable, very weak link. And it's not all the same. And I've consulted with business owners for a decade now. I can spot these things like this. All 3 of the restaurants had the weak link of only being able to sell food in a certain way. In other words, people got to come there in order to get the food. The restaurant by the university had a really weak link of having just one source of business, right? The university. People go to school there, they work there, they go to this place to eat lunch. That sounds like a pretty cushy deal until it dries up. And this is very much like having a tub that you're filling with a spigot with water coming out of, except when somebody shuts off the water to that one pipe, you're screwed. And so, I started talking to these specifically with these guys, and this is what I would have told Thomas on the webinar yesterday. Really, what needs to happen? This needs to happen for you, and it needs to happen for your clients. And as you're talking to clients, this needs to happen. You need to figure out where their weak links are. When you think about business, guys, it's very simple. Yeah, the details are hard as hell. But the overall concept of a business is very simple. You either buy or you create stuff. In my main business, I create stuff. It's an info products business, but generally you're buying stuff and you do stuff to it and then you sell it to other people. So you think about what goes on there. Well, you got a supply chain, right? I mean, the supply has to come in. And what if you owned a restaurant and let's say you had a certain type of food that you cooked, and let's say you had one distributor, one wholesaler of that food in your city? What if their business goes down? You're totally screwed, right? Other places that businesses can have very weak links, and I've spotted this in my own business. my main business about 2 years ago, and I've taken steps to mitigate this. You can have weak links in how your payments are processed. People don't use cash anymore, right? I mean, they're not going to hand you a $20 bill and you're not going to hand them $1.26 in change. That's not the way it works, especially not you guys, because you're doing everything online. So who's your payment processor? You need more than one, right? I mean, if it's just PayPal, and if PayPal just decides, as they did for a lot of people who are in similar businesses to me about a year and a half ago, if they just decide they don't like you, you're going to wake up and, holy crap, my business is gone. You know, I mean, this happens. So redundancy is really important. Having more, you know, if you're buying stuff or if your client is buying stuff, let's start to figure out who another supplier is. If you're taking, you know, how do you take payment? How do you process that payment? For a lot of retail businesses, your credit card processor. Well, what if your credit card processor goes broke? Or nowadays, think about this. What if that part of the infrastructure goes down or is weakened because we have so much teleworking now, virtual working? This actually in a way happened to me yesterday. What if that goes down? Then, you know, you got these major stress points, right? So you need to be thinking through this. You need to figure out where your weaknesses are and where your clients' weaknesses are. And that's what you need to start to mitigate. In general, you guys are, and Mark, I'm getting back to you, buddy. In general, you guys are really in the catbird seat, because no matter whether, you know, no matter how you are involved in me buying products from me, or just like Gus showing up or you're in a network marketing company that we call Royalty with me. You are part of the big trend that has been happening, but needed to have been sped up a lot, which is moving businesses. And it's not, you're creating a business using technology, but you're part of a big trend of moving more business onto technological platforms. Now, with a grain of salt, I mean, granted, with what I just said about making sure you don't have weak areas, and you know, so if you know, if you have a website in one place and like that, and your host goes down, then you're screwed. You know, you might want to do what I do, which is have software that actually just clones that website every week and stores it somewhere. I do the same thing with my email list. I have my email list in about 4 or 5 different places, all done through automation. Doesn't have to be done through automation, but I'm saying this is the kind of thing that needs to be happening. You guys are in the forefront of this. And so I think it could, had I had time to answer that guy's question yesterday, because he apparently had some clients and they were freaking out, and you know, and I'm saying, you know, your number one thing to get these clients to do is to create redundancy and to actually create that redundancy through technology. And I'm talking very broad strokes here. Create redundancy and create that redundancy through technology. Now, Mark, the 111 idea is almost going to seem to contradict what I'm sitting here talking about, but this came from a coaching course that I did about this time last year. And this is aimed at people who were either very new at starting an online business, or they had been struggling at starting an online business. And basically I was talking about solving a different problem than having a weakness in your business, because these people didn't really even have a business, okay? And but this applies to even solving problems in your business. And I'm personally gotten very good at this, because I have to be good at this. When you're starting an online business, all right, you need one way of getting customers, you need one thing to sell, you need one way of selling it, and you need one way of fulfilling it, and then you need one upsell. Okay, so that's the 111 concept. Mark, when talking to people, and Mark, you know me through royalty, but I'm talking in a broader way through internet marketing in general. When I talk to people through coaching or group coaching that I do and stuff like that, so many people have a lot of issues with this because they're spread too thin, and they're like doing plan A this week and plan B next week and plan C the next week, and that's not going to work. So that's slightly different. Well, it's really the same thing. It's basically, how do you start a business? You get remarkably focused on one thing to sell, one way of getting clients or customers, whatever you happen to call them in your business. You know, what one method for selling, one method for fulfilling. I mean, you get really focused on that. And out of all those little permutations that don't work, you find the one that does work, and then you go deep into that. But the next step, so that somebody doesn't come away and take away your cheese, you know, that old book, Who Moved My Cheese, right? Or Who Moved the Cheese, or whatever it was. It's like back in the 80s. It's just saying how long I've read business books, right? Forever. At that point, Mark, you need to create redundancy. Redundancy in a business is very much like in your own personal life, that whole concept of multiple streams of income, which just sounds so effing brilliant, but yet is so incredibly hard to do. And there's some structural reasons why that's so damn hard to do. But so that's really, so really I wanted to create this place for a whole bunch of reasons. One, I think we need a place to get together, and I think you need a place to sort of blow off steam and debrief and understand that. I mean, look how many people are on this call, and there are going to be a ton more that watch the replay of this call. I think you need a place where you can say there are other people facing things very similar to what you're facing. And I'm not trying to sell you a damn thing. Believe me, I can. I've literally been selling stuff since I was 12 years old professionally. That's not a joke. That's actually true. If I wanted to sell you something today, I could do that, but I'm not doing it. And it's not that I'm Mother Teresa either. I like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa actually was a remarkable salesperson when you actually learn about her life. I was reading this a little bit of a sidebar, but if any of you follow online guy named Randy Gage, he's really big in network marketing, in the network marketing community, and he's a really, really cool guy. But I was listening to something he was saying about Mother Teresa and said, yeah, you probably totally misunderstood Mother Teresa. Actually, this is in a course I bought from him. He said, you think about what that woman actually did. She managed a budget of millions of dollars per year, which she had to get from other people for free. So, you know, that's high-level business, guys. You know, I mean, she wasn't just picking up people on the street and, you know, taking them back to her little place. This is high-level business skills. So that's the deal, guys. That's why we got this place. So I've talked a bunch. I want to open this up. I want you to talk. I want to hear what's going on. I don't care what it is. It's just that I'm sick and tired of having to walk my damn dog 5 times a day, or
I'm doing twice. Yeah.
Twice? How do you do it twice?
I know. Well, morning and evening, I guess.
Oh my God, Tom, well, you're just so.
Well, I gotta ask you. Gotta ask.
Yeah, go for it, bud.
So I've got existing clients, and I've talked to one guy this week, dentist. It's the only guy I've talked to, but the other ones I haven't contacted. I haven't emailed them. I haven't phoned them. So, you know, I'm just wondering what to say to them. I guess that's what I was looking for, is ideas on what to say to them.
You know what you need to say? Do you see what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I know. I know what you do. I know you get a communication going and a talk. And
we're opening up. We're this is not a finished deal. We're starting, right? We're flowing. Yeah. I'm opening up. This right here, however you want to do it, you can do it. I really like the Zoom thing because you can see me. I hadn't shaved in 4 days. Who the hell needs to shave if it's a zombie apocalypse, right? Yeah. But this is the thing. Okay. I'm in a bunch, I'm in like 40 million Skype groups, but I'm in a bunch of Skype groups. Tom, if you buy internet marketing type stuff and stuff like that, all those people that you buy from, we're all in all these groups and we all know each other really well. And they're, really cool people. But I was just putting in my 2 cents about the market and stuff like this, our market for info products. And I was saying, this is not a business as usual type deal. This is the time that you want to get closer to your customer, your client, not farther away from. This is a time when you want to build that personal connection really, really deep.
You want to be a resource.
I love that. You want to be a resource. You also, quite frankly, and I know this is really hard for men. My daughter calls me a robot, so we'll just, go. But you want to build that emotional bond. And I don't care if they bought something from you for $200. I mean, Tom, just like some local business thing,
Yeah, well, these are people that are ongoing. I mean, these are current
ongoing.
customers. They advertise with me. They pay me a lot of money every month. I advertise. And
you need to
that's what I worry about is what to tell them,
It's a brave new world.
Yeah.
I'm here. Go, Tony.
Yeah,
go.
exactly. It's something I've just done this week. I've been thinking about it, and I've sent out some notifications. I did one on LinkedIn and I did one on email, and I just said, we're in really extraordinary times at the moment. If you need anything, just ask. I may have the answer, or I may know who has.
Oh, that's good.
I love that. But let me add to that. I mean, for me, the personal touch. No, honestly, I'm not getting out in the car and going over and seeing people. I don't want to be that close to other human beings for obvious reasons. But look, we've got this amazing technology. This Zoom thing costs me $10 or $20 a month. I mean, so little, I don't even know how much it costs me, right? You need to reach out to these guys. You need to say, hey, Tom, whatever defines the people, maybe you're doing the same type of services, or maybe it's in the same type of geographic location or something like that. But I'm starting a virtual business meeting for people like you, and there's no agenda here. We're just going to rally together, and I'm going to help you figure out what you need to deal with the stuff that we got coming at us. That right there, it's not like, here are the steps you need to take. Oh, you need to do these 5 steps and you'll be fine. It's not like that. It's an emotional bond. They need to see you and know that you are there. That's the thing that you need to get. You need to get close to them, like really, really, really close.
I was going to suggest, I know I reached out this week to a lot of the customers, and I don't have probably as many of you do. So I was able to phone call them or go see them. I don't have that same fear at the moment. But I made signs for their doors. A lot of them had to close their business. So I made a very professional sign talking about the local, thing, and put their logo on it and sent it out to them so that they could just print it, put it on their door. A lot of them forgot to do that. So that's just a professional step, but it also just shows that you're caring. And then again, what you suggested, I think it was Tony, just said, hey, I'm here. And if you need me to make content for your Google, for Facebook, or whatever, to say the same. So I did that as well for some of them. But it's the first step, because this is the time that they need you. And if you're not going to be there, they might find somebody else. That's all I want to say.
Well, there's that. Mark, would you unmute yourself and just read what you just wrote? Because that's brilliant. Mark Watkins. Mark, there you go. Yeah, the other Mark. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they had the same issue that the gentleman just had. They don't know what to say to their customers. So, I mean, a lot of things that I've been reading lately and some other internet marketers are putting out is just, like the other gentleman said, helping them with signage for their business, or maybe an email that they can send out to their clients to say, we're still here. We're suffering through the same thing that you are. And this is how we're adapting. And, I know so many small business owners that from day to day are changing their method of operation just to try to stay afloat. So everyone's feeling all the same feelings. I just think we have the advantage of being able to use our experience but just to open up the lines of communication. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to be there. And if they know we're there, I think that means a lot to people.
Right. You don't have to have the answer because frankly, nobody has the answer. I mean, Mark, what you said, Tom and Tony and the other Mark, what you guys have been saying is it's an emotional thing. You got to be there. But also, I love the idea, Mark Watkins, what you said about they have the same issues that we have. So let's go the extra mile. How are they going to communicate with people? I mean, quite frankly, I mean, look, I'm not like pointing a finger, but and you would never want to say this to one of your clients, but if they had a robust email list, they would be like 80% ahead of where they are now, honestly. If they were really doing email marketing right, and you would never want to say that, you know, like, hey, dude, I've been talking to you about email marketing for 2 years. If you'd have done that, you wouldn't have these problems. That would be an asinine thing to say, but we can start now, right? Help them understand how to reach out to people. You know, a Zoom meeting is like, I mean, it's like rocket science to the rest of the world. It is so incredibly easy to do and so inexpensive.
If you can get the clients in, right? I mean, that's
the thing. And
how do you get the leads? I mean, I'm totally new to this. I was never involved in anything, any type of e-commerce. I have no experience whatsoever. I was about to get into it because my friend Chris Bass was showing me the ropes, and sorry to jump in like that and cut you guys off.
No, that's what we're here for.
Put in my 2 cents. I had a friend and neighbor, very close friend and neighbor back in Spain, because we just moved from Spain to Germany at the end of last year. And his friend owned a chain of gyms in Spain. He still owns them, actually. And, it would have been my first client to do some marketing for him through Facebook and possibly Google as well. So we were just getting all set up, and, of course, then this thing hit, and the country went in lockdown, and of course we couldn't do anything. So there goes my first shot at trying this thing out. Same thing here in Germany. We could have had another client. We had another.
I would say
blew up.
I'll just sort of interject and say you still need to work with the gym guy, because this will be over and he will need to start up again. So
right,
it's important for businesses to keep going and do something. Like Lee was saying earlier, it may be he should not do necessarily prospecting, but just say to his existing customers, look, we've got to shut down. We know you can't come. As soon as this gets over and the lockdown's over, we will make sure you get fit and well again.
Right. That's a good thing,
That's huge. This is a little side deal. There's a place where I do yoga sometimes, and obviously that's not a place where I want to physically go, right? But they very rapidly changed their entire thing to basically they're using Zoom, to where the yoga classes are taught through Zoom. You just set your computer up, and what Mark Watkins, what you just said, you set your computer up, you watch the class, you got a camera, the teacher, it's just like a yoga class. The teacher says, okay, you're going to do this with your arms, blah, blah, blah. And they can see you just like I can see all you guys, right? They can see you. So.
Can I also say something?
Please.
I think we're getting around the bush. I come from a youth ministry background many years ago, and I think this is a time just to show your heart and that you care. And you don't have to have an answer. But more importantly, all the big corporations, all the big things, they're not going to do what you can do as an individual. And just show that you care, that you have a heart, and that you're really, really partnering with them through this, and that you're sensitive to their needs and their family. And that can just make a connection deeper, more than trying to sell something. They will come back and know that you care. That's all I need to say.
That's extremely well said, and I fully agree with that. I could not agree more.
So how are you going to get in touch with people and tell them that?
For me, I actually phone called, and like I said, I only have so many people. I got hurt last year at work, and I'm still in recovery. So I'm limited to what I can do as far as I can't bring in tons of income without causing a problem with the insurance and all that. As crazy as that sounds. So I'm trying to gear everything up so once I'm released, I can just go crazy. But in the meantime, I have 10 to 12 people, so it's easy for me to handle.
Right.
But when I've had hundreds of clients in the past, when I did this with a financial situation, I would just get on the phone and make it a point to keep calling. And if I had to spend 12 hours that day, I would do that because they need to be heard. They need to let you know that you're there, that you're thinking of them. And even if it's a 5-minute conversation, email still is great if you've got tons of people, but it's not as personable. To be honest.
I'm just sitting here thinking about that. Guys, the closer you can get to, and you don't want personal interaction, obviously, but the closer you can get to personal interaction, the better off you are. Cut yourself a YouTube video, put it up on YouTube, and email that to all your clients. Just say I'm here for you.
And I'm dealing with local, obviously, so that is a different.
It's different in a way. But I've got an email list with thousands of people on it, and here we are.
But I love your idea of video. Make a video where you're talking to,
I mean, this works for any kind of business. I mean, local, absolutely. But this works. Nora, you're involved with me, and Mark Mazie, you're involved with me in Royalty. So that's a network marketing company. It's actually focused on.
How did you acquire a list of thousands of emails? Did you buy the list?
Well, I've been doing this for 10 years. So,
okay.
Through the process of creating courses, doing coaching.
Okay.
I do a lot of online advertising, just all of that stuff. I mean, resulted in that.
Thank you, Mark.
I didn't, did you see that the 6 best SMS apps for small business 2019?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
The one I use.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. But Jim, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, the place to start is we're all dealing with a brand new thing, and I'm here for you, and I'm not trying to sell you anything today, and I'm not necessarily trying to sell you anything tomorrow. I'm just here to listen to you. And just like with the Chinese laundromat owner, I mean, I'm just like listening. I mean, I did say, told him about a platform that might help his sister, but I really just sat there and listened to him talk to me about how his business had changed. And now guess what? He and I are friends. Will he buy something from me in the future? I have no idea. But I do know that it's really kind of interesting. In other words, we need more virtual stuff, but what needs to happen through that technology is the human closeness needs to happen more, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the goal here is not virtual and let me push you away so that I call all the people that land on my website, I call them abstract names like traffic and stuff like that, right? Or I call all those thousands of people whose email addresses I have, I call that my list. In other words, dehumanizing and depersonalizing that. I mean, it's really, really important to me, Nora, to see you, and I've spoken, but now I see your face, right? Tony, I see your face. Tom, I see your face. Mark, I already saw your face.
That's why I put the picture up. I didn't want to scare
I'm just messing with y'all just to make a joke. Ron, I know you, buddy. Ron Bartling, I know you. Chris Bass is not on here, but obviously I know Chris. David, I know you. I mean, we're talking about, look, it's the personal close. You want the bottom line, and this needs to happen. This needs to happen for you. If you have clients, it needs to happen for your clients. If you're in a network marketing company, it needs to happen for your downline, and it needs to happen for their end users. The bottom line is you need to think about how to use technology to bring people closer together, right? Because they're scared. I mean, hell, what are they telling us to do? To isolate. Last time I checked, that's not good for your mental health, right? I mean,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, like, you know, some poor kid
Once
shoots
you're a
up a high school.
teenager, they're used to doing it.
Well, you know, like I said, Mark, it's not good for your mental health,
Yeah.
right?
Well, all the gyms are closed.
Yeah.
All the gyms are closed. All the yoga centers are closed. It's insane.
Well, yes.
One
it
thing
is.
that I've had some success with in the past couple of days, guys, and that's why I sent out that that texting article.
Mhm.
I've used that slick test before, but you can create a text that goes out and it goes straight into the messaging app that your person has on the phone. And I use this to create a audio message, like it would be just like a voicemail, but it goes straight into their text inbox without their phone ringing. And I used it to reach out to some clients that were, you know, previous clients of mine in years past, that in the financial services community, just saying, hey, listen, I'm here for you. You know, I'm a great resource. If you've got questions, call me. I might be able to direct you in the right space. I might be able to help you, you know, directly myself. But let's chat. I just wanted to touch base since everybody's locked up. I figured I'd give you a call. And it was amazing. I sent out about 1,000 of them, and that was 2 days ago. And I've probably gotten easily half of that texted me back right away.
Holy
And I've
cow.
probably had about 30 phone calls in the past couple of days.
Wow.
Right.
That's good.
It's very simple to do. You record the message, you hit send. Those apps will log everybody that you sent it to. It'll log the reply that they send on their text. You can go in there and put notes, just like a regular contact relationship management system. And a lot of them have an API that'll go back into whatever contact management system you're using. But it's really simple to get the word out fast, personalize it with an actual audio message versus somebody reading a text. And you can always add a link that, you know, follows up to, hey, you know, click on here to schedule an appointment with me.
I love that. Let me leave y'all because we're going to be doing this a lot. You don't have to be on every one of these, but I am basically doing exactly what I'm telling you to do, right? And it fundamentally boils down to this: being a leader. This is about leadership, okay? This is about giving before you get, right? This is about the heart of a servant. Jim, with your background, Jim's just sitting there nodding up and down. That's what this is about. And yes, you're in business. Your goal is to sell stuff. I got it. I mean, you know, I'm not naive about how economies work. It has to be a value for value exchange, or else the whole thing collapses. But right now is the time to reach out. Right now is the time to just be an ear. Right now is the time to say, you know, I might have some good ideas for you. And just, you're just like Mark, let the person talk to you. You know, right now is the time to build those relationships.
People are bored out of their minds, so give them something to do.
Well, there's that, right? You know, I mean, it is so weird. I realize that this is so sad. I realize my main source of entertainment in my life is eating lunch out. It's like, you know, I mean, it's like, talk about having a sheltered life, right?
Yeah, there's a great marketing book that went out years ago called Don't Eat Alone.
You know, absolutely. I make a lot of friends. I make just like the guy that owns the Asian restaurant, not the laundromat, but the other guy who's Asian too. I make a lot of friends doing that.
You know, I had I was on a Zoom call the other day with a woman. She's a speaker and she says, you know what I'm doing? She says, I'm starting to have lunch with my clients on Zoom.
Love
Pick
it.
a time And we fire up our Zoom, we sit here and we eat lunch together and talk. I mean, that was pretty cool. I haven't done it yet, but I just heard that yesterday. So that's kind of neat.
Stuff like that.
That's good.
Is what needs to happen. The getting close. But it's got to be leadership on your part, which means that you have to walk the talk, right? I mean, you can't go to, I mean, you can, but it's not going to work out. You can't go to a business owner and say, look, you need to do these Zoom meetings and you need to get closer to your people and you need to just start reaching out to your community and you need to do all this stuff. And I can help you with the technology. It's really cheap and it's not that hard to do. It's going to sound a lot better if you are doing that than if you're not doing that. See what I mean?
In addition to that, Lee, if you're making recommendations for these folks, like we're talking about setting up this thing for financial services, best practices for virtually marketing and selling, financial services products, we're going to recommend that they pick some type of a Zoom.us type of a platform or whatever. You can monetize that. You can set up an affiliation agreement with those companies while you're making recommendations to your clients and prospects to use their service and get paid for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Done right, guys. This is going to sound insane. We've been on here about an hour and we'll get going in a minute, but done right, guys, this is actually going to be the best time in your business. And Gus, I see your picture. I don't really see you. Since you're just getting started, I would suggest that you hang out with us some. It's not just me. As you hear these people talking, it's not just me. You have an enormous amount of been there and done that wisdom on this one call. And you're going to pick up stuff that's going to move you light years ahead of where everybody else started.
That's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I need, actually.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mark,
right.
Mark, you were going to say something?
I said, without making all the mistakes that we did.
Oh God, please don't.
We'll save you plenty of money and frustration. Maybe your marriage.
And stress. Yes, absolutely. Trevor.
Hey Lee,
Trevor,
one
how
thing
you
I
doing,
would
buddy?
ask you.
Yeah.
What are you thinking as far as targets for prospecting now? Because I've been trying to do a brainstorm, and it looks pretty. The obvious one at first is e-commerce, because obviously they can still sell. But I'm worried April the pipeline problems from China hit, and then Europe and the United States gets layered on top of that. So they're going to have issues probably as well. I'm trying to think what industries that don't already. Obviously, the healthcare companies have large budgets already and all in-house sales. What industries are really ripe for prospecting now?
Anybody that's using technology.
I think that's great. Anybody that's using technology, or anybody that could easily move over into using technology. Chris, they're like 40 million, not that many, that's an exaggeration, but there's a ton of them. They're like 40 million public speakers and authors and the whole authorpreneur thing, which is a big deal. I mean, there are tens of thousands of those people, and you can get to them through LinkedIn, right? So they're basically doing a gig like this. They do the public speaking. They got the book printed on Amazon, selling on Amazon. They got a course behind that. I mean, it's the new version of the selling in the back of the room thing, right? I mean, that those of us who are older have all been through. Those people need massive help in transitioning to a space where it is virtual instead of in person. Nobody wants to go to a giant, hotel room with 500 people in there and sit really close to each other and listen to a person speak anymore. That's not going to happen for a while. And my guess is, frankly, guys, I think what's going to happen is as people start to get hip to, doing this stuff virtually, I don't think that business model is going to go away, but I think the idea of the virtual speaking, of creating courses and things like that is going to be a much bigger thing than it was, 6 months ago. So Chris, right there, and Chris, you obviously know way more just right off the top of your head than you need to know. in order to help someone do this. Right there is just thousands of people for you to find on LinkedIn and to approach. You could easily write just a little report, how to transition your business online. Fundamentally, guys, that's really what needs to happen. How to transition your business online in some way, even for a restaurant.
Any professional services practice.
Yeah. Doctors doing,
Telemed.
Telemed, huge,
Yeah, I guess the other thing, because over here in the UK, we're now being told to work from home, which I've been doing for 10 years, but a lot of people haven't. And something for Chris may be personal trainers or hygienists are a good one to target, because people will want to know how to keep healthy at home when they're stuck at home, being soul isolated, or what's the other term that they use? Social distancing.
No, that's a great idea.
I'll tell you something. Yeah, go ahead.
Perhaps the friend with the gym, for example, I'm sure he has quite a wide range of mailing lists from all of his clients from all of his gyms, and offering a service related to what Tony McGuire just said to all of those clients that were part of the gym, sending an email to them individually saying, look, you know where you are, the personal touch, and here's something that we can still offer you.
Yeah, and you can help him to craft that and write it, and maybe even suggest some videos that he may be able to do to help people that are stuck at home.
Right, and eventually monetize that process.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. You think in broad strokes about business, right? I mean, there's either an object being sold or there's knowledge being sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it pretty much boils down to that. Now, or there's a service, like you go to the dentist, right? But then you have objects that are being sold, like my gold crown. That's an object. But then you had a certain skill in putting that in. But if you take that, the transference of the object from the business to the person, if you can make a lot more of that happen using, just like the idea of a restaurant. A restaurant's fundamentally a transference of food from the restaurant to me, right? To my body. Well, I'm not really going and sitting in a restaurant right now, but I might venture into, we have a sandwich company around here called Panera Bread Company. They're in a lot of the United States, and I can get on my phone and order a Panera Bread thing, and they can have it ready for me, and I could probably get out of my car, put my rubber gloves on, my mask, hold my breath, walk in, get my food, and leave. See?
I was thinking about that too, but however, here in Germany and like most other places that are going through this crisis, I'm not sure that I would feel comfortable picking up and ordering takeout.
Right. That's just, Gus, that's just an example that it is not applicable everywhere. But there's always a knowledge base. Okay, here's an idea for you guys. If you want to walk away with an idea, we've covered the fact that your heart needs to get close to their heart. We've covered that fact, right? Here's a good takeaway for you. And Dan Kennedy said this. Dan Kennedy said that every successful business can create a parallel business teaching other people how to run that successful business. Every dentist who's successful could create a whole nother company teaching other dentists how to be successful. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar a year company. It's been done many, many times. Mark, you mentioned real estate agents. Every realtor could easily create information products teaching other realtors how to sell real estate in this new bad world, right? That's another thing for you. Successful business people, they're not just moving, they're not moving a pile of dirt from A to B. They hire people to do that. Really, it's in here, right? Now, yeah, there's capital, there's all kinds of stuff in software, but you still, it's in here, right? And if you can help the person monetize what's in here. So let's say my new friend, the Chinese laundromat owner, I go back and talk to him about, well, how about turning your business into people just bring the laundry to you and you do it, and then you give it back to them type of business, as opposed to people walk in there and do their own laundry. See, there's a ton of different ways of doing that. Guys, this has been great. I don't want to keep you too long. I am enjoying it enormously. I'm very aware of your time. I am going to have the same Zoom call. Today's what? Friday? Great thing about working for yourself, you don't even know what damn day it is. But I am going to have this same call several times a week, at least through this crisis, and maybe forever. I don't know. I'm enjoying the heck out of this. And I loved hearing from you guys. I really appreciate your time. I understand that I have right in front of me, just on the board I'm looking at, a massive ton of ideas and expertise, and been there and done that wisdom. And you bet, Mark. We'll talk tomorrow, buddy. But you're on my mailing list. Gus, Chris, just send Gus this stuff. Gus, get on my mailing list somehow. But you're on my mailing list. We're going to have more of these. We're going to talk our way through this. And my goal for you is for you to end up with a massively strong business by the time the dust settles on this, so that your business makes it through this. But B, and Mark Cuban said this. Mark Cuban, I remember in the Great Recession, Mark Cuban said every single major American business was started during really bad economic times. As a matter of fact, the powerhouses were all started during the Great Depression. Think about that. So really, this thing that looks so scary is, for a business person, this is your trial by fire. This is how you're going to start a business. It's going to be dynamic because you're going to have to get rid of that fat. All right?
Yeah, great
guys.
Building times. Yeah, great business building times, and it's opportunity in adversity.
Thank you for
Excellent.
your
Excellent.
Absolutely. So guys, I'm also going to, this is being recorded. I'll have these recorded on a specific webpage, and I'll just email that out to everyone. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week a few times. All right.
Thanks for doing
Absolutely.
this.
Thank you very much.
In the meantime, I'm here. Reach out to me. We're going to get through this together, and we're going to actually we're going to end up with some really cool businesses. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to help.
I've got your support link, so we'll get a call arranged.
I would love that, buddy. I would love to hear more about that. I'm very excited about that. So see y'all later. And
Thank you. Good night.
Stay safe.
Yep.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.